Ai primit notificare ceva?
Nu știu, pe telefon celălalt timp, stai tu.
Da, deja, e bine. A căzut netul, futui morții lui de net. Mi-a căzut netul, bă. Bă, vrei să intri cu noi, mă? Mihai?
Da, mă.
Ce a făcut pe ala și a ieșit?
Da, n-avea nici el net. Nu știam de luare. Dimineață cu aia, nu înțeleg ce pula mea au fost dimineața cu jocul. Gen după ce ați ieșit voi, eu am mai stat, m-am mai uitat la serial, după am
Stai liniștit, nu e nicio problemă. Da, mie îmi transpiră mâinile, mă, rău de tot.
Dar tu știi că mă luau ăia prin pereți, mă, era la data de mare, încât eu eram mult după pereți, ăla nici nu trăgeam nimic și după ce eram după pereți, eu la unul pe stradă.
Eu sar, mă?
Da.
Îmi transpiră mâinile, mă, rău de tot.
Păi dacă n-ai ventilator...
Nu că n-am ventilator. Am 4G-ul aprins, trebuie să-l închid.
Da, ia-ți ventilator, mă, frate, când ne-ai amică de birou.
Nu, mă, că nu-mi transpiră mâinile, da?
Băi, ascult-mă, mă, faci, mă, dar nu știu băi, să vezi. Zici tu cum nu-ți transpiră mâinile, pentru că așa ești obișnuit tu, dar să vezi când îți vine reci la mâini. Să vezi ce fel e. Mai avem doi.
Da? Unde?
Da.
Vin puși ăștia, mă.
Două gloanțe la ăla. 3 gloanțe. Dă-i la ăla. Dau grenade.
E la ăla.
Mort sau ce?
Nu, le-am dat finish. Da, dar ce am la ăsta, mă? Nici ghiozdanul. Am un Thompson amărât.
Eu am M4, dar stai să fii doar. Hai că mă duc înainte. Dar nu mă duc. Dau un pauză. La cale.
Furat și kill.
Dai low ăla, mi-am dat 2 sezon. Mamă, ce tare am dat băga mea.
Mi s-a pus kill-ul. Mi s-a pus kill-ul pe ăla, mă.
Păi da, mă, dar nu știu, nu cred că o tras în altul.
Vezi că avem flare gun. E foarte low, e foarte low. E low, e la un glonț. E la un glonț, e la un glonț. Aici, aici, în cameră. A fugit, mă.
Nu-i pe aici, cum.
Enemies ahead!
Campează, fraierul.
La el, nu. Stă-te aici, ca să nu se facă.
Flare gun-ul ăla unde e? Ia uite, bă, unde a dat flare gun-ul. Ești prost? Nu cred. Nu-l vezi tot mai sus acolo. Nu, șefule, nu e problemă. Oricum e topit telefonul. Vine acum 12 Pro Max-ul. E greu, 90 de FPS-uri.
Bă, player la mine. Mamă, ce cap mi-a dat să mor. Uite, viața. Eu trăgeam la...
Unde anume?
Din hal, din dreapta. O trecut în dreapta, în hala din dreapta. Dar nu știu cât e. Unul am văzut trecut. Din spate trecut.
Cred că e după gard. Bă, ești prost, cum dracu a ajuns acolo ăla, mă? Uite-l, mă. Uite ce boschetar de oameni cu aia. Ia salții, mă.
Bă, dar unde n-a picat ăla cu aia căruia i-am dat pe fire?
Da, e full squad, bă. A? Da, full squad.
Bă,
Dar cum să stai, bă, pe burtă acolo ca orfan? Bă, la ce oră începe, mă? La 8, nu? Dar primul meci începe pe la 8 jumate.
La 8 și un sfert, așa.
Da? E, păi mai avem timp de 2-3 meciuri. Stai să văd dacă mi-am închis Bluetooth-ul, mă. E închis Bluetooth-ul, mă, haide. Mersi de like, Mihai. A? Sar dacă vrei, dacă nu sar eu. Luăm o hală cu o hală sau sărim aici?
Ai văzut de ce echipă am dat dimineața, mă, frate?
Nu.
Cum nu, mă, că am trimis post pe grup. PENTRU Regional Champion.
Da?
Care au câștigat pe medalist.
Te pup, Mihai. Pe ce? Pe ce? Pe Europa sau pe... A?
Pe Europa, mă, unde l-a făcut?
Păi unde fugi?
Vagabond voia să fugă, nu?
Da, și-a închis și ușa în spate și-a închis. Băia deștept.
Bă, play.
Enemies ahead!
Sus. Atunci pula mea am eu beril în mână. Nu e cum ești, nu? Mă duc forță, știu. Stai că e periculos, de-aia că...
Eu n-am cască. A, e sus, mă.
E pula lui. E în patru la mine.
I got supplies!
E în patru și beril aici.
Mersi, Andreea. Mersi de like.
Dă-i la mine. Mulți la mine. Stai acolo.
E foarte low ăla.
Sus pe Y.
Mhm.
Sus pe Y.
La ăla, cum îi zice? Unde exact?
Da. Sus. La prostii ai.
Da?
Acolo au uitit. Să văd ce are. În dreapta.
Nu, a urcat sus, muistul.
Bă, foai! Deci cât îi dau,
i-am prins cap.
Nu cred că mai e nimic.
Nu, mai e nici dracu, mă.
Uite drop acolo.
Enemies ahead!
Mersi, Adrian. Mersi de like. Nu fac rum, șefule, suntem 7 persoane, sunt mic acum. Sunt micuț. Sunt la început, am decât 300 de follower. O să fac, când o să fie mai mulți, când o să cresc și eu, deocamdată sunt micuț.
N-am drop. Sau nu am. Augeul de acolo. Am căzut în apă și tu morți.
Auge-ul? Îl iau, mă.
Da, dar vezi, s-ar putea să pici în apă.
De ce să pic în apă?
Păi, pe margine acolo. Și am alunecat.
Hai că n-am căzut în apă.
Am 2 kill-uri, așa.
Eu am 4, 3 kill-uri și un but.
Dacă tu ești nevorbit,
A?
cu Cristi.
Mersi de like, Nicușor. Ce cu Cristima? A zis că e liber azi, că joacă, că nu știu ce. Că...
Da, zic, n-ai
Ia intră la PMCO, ia intră, vezi, a început? A dat drumul?
Mai este, în 2 minute abia încep ăștia să vorbească, abia să deschid.
Player la mine. E but ăsta, cred. Dar eu am auzit și în față.
Enemies ahead!
Da, da, eu am auzit unul aproape aici, la gard.
Mă mai duc în pula mea, mă prind aiurea, buții ăștia, mă, frate, uite, stai aici.
I got supplies!
Dar mă prind numai aiurea. Bă, ești ultimii buți, îmi bat la mine. Uite, puțin. Mă prind la un... Ia uite, picea pe acolo. Olin, bloodline, dope. Na, uite și... M-am oprit la un copăcel de la mașină, a venit unul la un drept.
Ce zice Bloodline, nu?
Ăștia numără secundele cu ai.
Cine?
Ăștia de pe chat.
Da? Viețile mele ne băgăm să ne uităm la...
Sogru de România au și apă.
Da, îți dai seama.
Nu mai români vezi. Olin. Olin numărul 1. Haide, Bloodline. La mulți ani 2021.
Stați puțin să-mi fac și eu grafica asta, că e jale cu ea.
Bă, trebuie să intrăm la stream-uri, băi, VasI.
Da, mă, intrăm.
Urmează ăsta la Franțele. L-avem pe el la mare. Ăla.
Mamă, dar ce îmi transpiră așa mâinile, frate? Că mor.
Și mi se pare că difuzează ăștia de la PUBG. Difuzează PENTRU. Gen la fazele la naționale.
Da? Ia uite-l pe ăla. Haide!
Aveți o secundă. S-ar putea să-ți dai exemplu la aici.
Violeto! Ah, Violeto! Vicino! Ce nu face puțin?
Bagă-mă Uzi și-l bagi pe ăsta din casă, ai grijă că ai și încă. Pune-l pe ăsta, nu poți fi
Nu,
nimeni.
lăși-mi spate.
Trebuie să-i lași, poate de nu.
Antren, nu merge, nu am ce să fac.
Și unde să iau eu în mâine? Îl dai pe al tău.
Îl dau pe al meu.
Mamă, să fac, tată, nu încarcă deloc. A venit de la muncă, tată? A venit?
Îmi dau seama.
Făcusem 80 de pauni, făcusem. A? Și acum mergea treaba bine.
Vezi că e ăla.
Păi, dar nu știu unde e, frate.
E mai în dreapta.
Ce faci?
Am avut lag, mă? De a tras așa de mult în mine? Că i-am dat numai înspre cap, n-ai văzut? Că numai pe cap am ținut ținta.
Mamă, dar ce-i pe chat, mă, coai, să mor.
Da? Bă, dar un redot nu găsesc, mă, și eu? Gata, mă, l-am găsit. trebuie să-mi dau și plec. Auzi
E
acolo.
urâtă vremea.
Da, e urâtă și eu n-am cum să...
Mamă, abia.
Cum avansez eu? Cum mă rotesc eu acolo, mâncați jurată?
Dă-i mai mult dreapta, încearcă. Mai mult. Până spre hard. Ai, ăia erau unii la hambar acum și de și uite, doamne. Spre tine, nu-i spre ei.
Da, dar nu-i văd.
Bă, dar cum să califica fetișoarele alea, mă, la PM sau mă știu?
Care fete, mă?
Siren, de Siren.
Ce
Este
nu
fetișoar
știu?
care joacă 5 degete, ești nebun?
Da?
Da, dar pierd cam orice fai cu aici, n-aș ști ce încă. Când le prind ăștia
Bă, dar
toți,
ce-mi transpiră, mă, așa?
Se duc cont el.
A, deci le
De
știu ca
obicei.
și cum.
Da, de obicei e cam pe skills. Adică pentru majoritatea echipelor. Bine, se întâmplă să-i bată, uite, s-a dus la third party, la scrim, la alt dop și i-au bătut.
Serios?
S-au bătut cu, da, s-au bătut cu unii. Era Tudor nou, VasI era 10 HP și mai era frag, și au venit la third party și l-au bătut pe VasI și pe Tudor. Nu este din bucă.
Bă, dar nu-i văd, mă, frate.
Am încetat. Nu știu, gata. Bă, dar mai lasă pe PP-ul ăsta un pic. Camera, mă.
Bă, ăsta a sărit în apă, mă.
Lasă-mă nici. Dar vezi că mai e pe ăștia, nu?
L-ai văzut, nu?
Bomba.
A, dar cum n-a căzut ăla, mă? Păi nu știu, că i-am dat numai în cap, ești nebun?
Am văzut că e sărit de 3 ori pentru 3-4 ori. N-ai mă grenăzi și le pui. Asta eu voiam să zic doar să sari, nu sari.
Da, da, știu, știu. Ia vezi, a început?
Da, mă, vorbesc cu ăștia, trebuie să-i dea start. Dă-i un TDM rapid, da, sau ceva.
Da?
Da.
Hai, mă, lasă-mă, fumăm țigara și ne uităm.
Auzi, ia stai, auzi.
Hai că trebuie să fac ecranul mai mare. Că nu ia toată imaginea de pe YouTube. Oare poate să-mi dea ăștia strike sau ceva? N-are treabă. Nu? Bă, oare poate să-mi dea ăștia strike sau ceva? Nu cred că are treabă, nu?
Nu. Păi mai bine le promovezi și tot
Da?
mai bine și turneele și tot.
Mm.
Dar sunt mulți care fac aia gen.
Da seama.
Ei gen, de exemplu, pe YouTube să zic, uite cât au în momentul ăsta pe engleză. Au 1096, dar la ăsta se uită mult mai multe persoane. Sunt streameri care fac live cu ăsta, cum faci tu gen.
Mhm.
Și cifrele sunt mult mai mari.
Te pup, Andreea.
Intră unul pe chat acolo și scrie, a câștigat Alin? Și ăsta nici nu început.
Serios? Ce e bun.
Trebuie să-i trimit link-ul o chestie cu meciul All Boy.
Cu meciul All Boy?
Băi, dar n-ai, e imposibil, n-ai cum, băi. Deci tu nu te-ai uitat la meci, dar să vezi cum eu au avut centrul zonei mereu, știi?
Mhm.
Și gen au fost într-o groapă din asta, cum ar fi,
Da.
cu niște ridge-uri, high ground și restul era jos cu aia. Dar gândești, 4 oameni au ținut tot cu aia, tu ce înseamnă tot, stânga, dreapta, tot.
Da.
Pușau squaduri cu aia, scotea câte unul, imediat venea altul, câte doi scoteau, bă, cu aia nebunii ce a fost acolo. Cel mai știu internet zic, că am văzut,
Ah.
mamă, cu aia.
Bă, hai că intru pe YouTube, mă, să văd.
Bine.
Intrăm pe YouTube, nu? PMCO. India. Europa.
It's just, it fits into that mindset. A team that really complements that is the Noisy Boys. If they get on a run from an aggressive standpoint, and if they're able to really
Can you hear me? Can you
so
hear
many
me now?
teams
Good,
around them,
guys.
yeah, okay, they'll have to take a
I
fight.
need to
but they
lower
might
them
not
more,
want
or
to, and that again will help steamroll.
okay,
the Noisy
so
Boys if they get on
the
a
sound it's
Yeah,
okay.
and we saw like so many
What I
tournaments, right,
wanted
where
to tell
literally
you
plays down
guys.
to 1 point, like Gamers Without Borders, 1 point.
Come on,
In
what
the
the
out,
fuck is going
hey,
on?
very close. You know what? A few
Du-te
kills would have made
dracu,
also really big.
Nu ești tu. PMCO. Domnul, nu. Europa.
Except for
Național.
Rango, which played 6 times, and that's something I want to get into. But
Cred că
I
ăsta
am
e.
happy that we're getting Sandhawk out of the way early on in today's, as in the game 2, because I think it's the kind of map where it's less controlling for these teams. It's a little bit crazier. Anybody can kind of come out on top in Sandhawk. So taking that out of the way, it's just going to mean we're going to be able to analyze things in the other maps a little bit better in my eyes.
Going over back to our camera overlay to see our cutie faces right there. Guys, if you want to sim for us, we're going to be opening donations very soon. But no, with that said, you know, we're going to slowly get our way into this first game. I know you guys might be like, wow, these guys are talking a lot, but it's fine because trying to introduce you guys and all to all the newbies really that are joining you know, PUBG Mobile Esports, trying to introduce this tournament as well as we possibly can. But Imperium, we talked a little bit before this broadcast, right, about what teams we might be expecting taking this entire tournament, this entire, you know, PMCO event. And I want you to maybe just pin to us real quick once again. What was the team that you mentioned and maybe the reason why, as we have just a few more minutes to burn?
Nope.
Oh, come on.
Nope.
Not going to?
No.
Fair enough.
I was the same during the PM WL. I do not have a favor. I do not have a choice. Every single one of these 32 teams are in a chance of winning. Take the spring split as an example. UDR Killers, group stage, they struggled to qualify into the semis. Semi-finals, they struggled to qualify into the finals. Finals came along, they absolutely popped off. They got first. You take Cream Esports in the spring split, dominated group stage, dominated semi-finals. Finals, they choked. Nothing against them personally, but that's the way it went down. Any one of these 32 teams have a running. You just got to take it game by game, day by day, stage by stage.
Well, fair enough. You know, I respect that completely. We did talk a little bit beforehand. I got a few teams I think have a big chance of doing some really good results. Got Bloodline, you got Godsend, you got the Noisy Boys. Those are like 3 teams I think a lot of people are talking about going into this event. So you definitely want to keep your eyes out for them because they could be coming in clutch and taking the few chicken dinners. But as you mentioned, really good point, right? Last season, UDR Killers, the dark horse of the entirety of the PMCO split, right? And completely unexpected to take it. And what I think a lot of people would maybe criticizing this team, but after they went over to PMWL West and they took 7th position Imperium, like that is still a really big achievement on the global international stage. So still, you know, any team, even if you think they're struggling a little bit, they might just snatch that chicken dinner and that top 1 position away at the last minute. So you know what? That's the cool thing about casting these battle royale games is like, literally, you never know what's going to happen. The unexpected is just so consistently around the corner. Expect the unexpected.
Exactly, and even when you take other regions within the European spectrum in play, right? We have PMCO Turkey going on, the PMCO CS as well at the same time, and even PMCO Germany. All of those teams performed really exceptionally well with Footballers and Kunina Power and 1st and 3rd respectively in the PMWL. That's only going to breed competition in the European region because we do see a lot of community tournaments and community scrims where those teams are facing against each other. So it's so valuable that you support the teams as well and that you support the stream because we want to see it grow. We want to see the region become better and better. And I think that's something that we also noticed relatively early in doing scrims preparing for the Fall Split PMCO is that the standard of EU gameplay has improved.
Oh, heavily. Like, especially those European grenades, though. Like, you see how, like, they are thick with double C. Not CK, double C. Those grenades are looking really good, especially the Bloodline grenades. Yeah.
Capital C.
Capital C's. You know what? Everything minuscule, unless it's the double C's, then you put it full caps. So that's fine. But anyways, I'm putting once again the group up in case you guys did join the stream a little bit late. What the hell were you doing? You better be nice and comfy because you're not moving for the next 3 hours, guys. You're not moving. You're not going anywhere. But right now, we're going to have Group A going versus Group B. Group C versus Group D will be happening tomorrow. That's going to be unfolding very quickly. And we're going to have literally every single team fight up against each other for the next 6 days. And after that, 8 teams will be directly... They just go home, even though they're already playing from home because it's an online tournament. But you're going even more in home. You're going in your room. You're going in your room. That's how far back you're going.
Jesus, that's a bit harsh, man. That's a bit harsh.
Yeah.
You know, we've talked about a few of these teams in Group A and Group B. And I know that at the end of the day, it's going to be up to the teams to let their gameplay do the talking, and we will be highlighting that. We don't have too much to go on because we haven't seen any PMCO action. We've done the scrims, we've had that level of preparation, but we always know that scrims is the area where they're going to be trying new things. They might not be taking it as seriously. The mindset is always going to be different in scrims compared to competitive play. However, a couple of teams that really haven't shown up too much in scrims from our point of view is V4 and yeah, V4 and Yakuza PX. They're both playing today, so I think they're a little bit more known to us than the other teams. Even
a team like Be My Loot, you know, they did show up sometimes, but not really on a consistent basis. So we got still a few teams that are like, you know, got a quick big question mark on their head, and it might be also a strat. Even though I think that training is also really good, but teams just don't know where the hell they're going to drop. How do they play? Are they aggressive, passive? Do they drop on the island, on the spawn island of Erangel? We just don't know. Anyways, that's something to keep in mind. But with that said, we got the game slowly coming up. We got about 100 seconds before game 1 of Full Split European PMCO kicks up. I'm extremely hyped, and I can see it on Imperium's face. He's extremely hyped also. And baby, but before we do dive into the action, I want to do a quick also little shout out to an organization that's been helping a lot of the European scene grow. We talked about it, that the European standard of gameplay has heavily improved throughout the past few months. So big shout out to the Pro EU Scrim event and also staff. You got yourself Aura, you got AJ, you got Veggie, you got Go. You got so many people that have been joining. Muriel also. I forget a few names there. My apologies. I'm trying my best. Yeah, but yeah, thank you so much for making all these streams possible, able to help all these teams improve their gameplay, get better and better every single day, and also allow us to pick up a few little followers along the way. But basically, thank you so much. It's been a lot of help, and yeah, these teams are just so good, especially because of the scrims.
And here's the thing, it's not much, but even kind of the and I can say that like the kind of support and viewership on the scrims have been surprisingly good, and I think it's where the region as a whole is just kind of realizing, hey, look, we do have the strength, we have the ability, we have the teams. We just got to get behind them. We got to show the support, whether it's scrims, whether it's tournaments. So get out there, tune into the stream, tell your mother, tell your father, tell your granny, tell your dog
Barky the dog
to the PMCO full split. Tell the frog outside, if you see a frog, say, hey, ribbit frog, tune into the PMCO EU, because it's going to be action packed.
Yeah, I'm sure. I like we just like literally, it feels like a zoo right now. I mean, you got us two on camera, so maybe it feels a little bit more like a zoo, but that's fine. With that said, Imperium, we're still going to be going into our very first game. Ladies and gentlemen, the time we've been waiting for the past few months is finally here, and that's going to be game number 1 of European full split PMCO 2020. The plane is in the air. Where are we going, baby? Where are we going?
Love is in the air as well. Actually, no, not quite, but
I mean, we're both on stream, Imperium. You know what? Who knows what happens after the stream ends? Who knows?
I ship you indeed. So plane path going from the west to the east, a little bit more north. So it's going to be pretty easy for the likes of Red Reserve. Going to be able to go to North George.
Yeah.
All good in the hood. Omega Dragon's going to be shifting down west along with the Noisy Boys as well. So that split drop, how is it going to handle for the Noisy Boys? Other than that, I think it's going to be standard stuff as well for teams heading towards Yasnaya and with Time to Shine going down south.
Yeah, but London Cycle, maybe not the most happy with this kind of playing path because they like to play towards military base quite a bit, so it's going to be a little bit far for them. But you know what? We talked about it. The strength of a lot of these teams is to have a secondary drop location. Teams like the Inside Games, for example, have been starting to do that now, dropping in Yasnaya Polyana and also Mill to Power altogether. So definitely a secondary drop, if you use it properly, can give you a really big point of advantage. But Imperium, once again, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks so much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen, on all social medias. If you're watching on Twitch, Facebook, I don't know if we were live on Facebook. I think we're live on Facebook, and also YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us today. And with that said, let's kick off the hostilities with game number 1 on good old fancy Erangel.
And you touch upon Atlanta Cycle. They have chosen to drop a little bit close towards the George Paul area. The phase 1 circle has complemented a playing path to a heavy extent. It's kind of what I was talking about with the side of the Noisy Boys, right? Having that split drop. However, they are a little bit closer together, which means they're going to be able to handle likes of V4 who are close by.
Yeah, they're going to have Elusive moving out. Elusive, a player that we haven't really seen, you know, too much play with the Noisy Boys, so a really nice late addition. He's going to be the dark horse of this team as player 99. Unfortunately, a little bit caught out in the open for V4. Eject, so coming around with mask off. Also, an off angle from the rest of his team would be really of great help if they could join up the party right now. He's going to be taking a fight 1v2, but unfortunately, he's very shortly lived. Savage X with the M16 puts an end to his life, and that's the very first kill of PMCO full split going over to the Noisy Boys.
Ooh, V4 again. One of the teams that we haven't really seen too much in scrims. They are a team that are mainly French, but they have a couple of players who are from Turkey. Player 99 who did go down is one of the French players. We'll have to see if they have the, you know, the je ne sais quoi to carry on.
And this is how you want to do it most of the time, right, Imperium? If you want to split drop, that's regroup back together really quickly. And the early stage is fine.
And you're dead right. However, what is underrated a little bit is when you do rotate away as a group, you got to make in separate vehicles. You got to make sure you're close together. If you're not close together on your rotation, it's going to be a lot easier for teams to pick you off. So we do see teams that are starting to rotate up. Red Reserve getting that Everest area a little bit under control to get that sideline. I would definitely recommend stay there for about 30 seconds, then move down to one of the compounds south of Everest. It's going to be a lot more valuable. But the teams coming in from the east, like Yakuza, Inside Games, Time to Shine, it is right now pretty free for them to move in. But of course, they are coming in from the outside circle, which means they are going to have a limited amount of information.
I did talk with Class of Red Reserve a few days ago, and he did really talk about how much they put a big focus on Plato's high ground position. So that's what they're going to be going for once again. But as you said, right, I think it's good for them to just scout, get the information, go down, maybe even keep one scout on Everest itself, and then move as the entire team down below, because you never know, the circle could be going towards Everest. It's something that could happen down the line.
You could even do it the other way around. keep 3 in Everest and send 1 down a little bit.
Some kind of split. Yeah.
Exactly. There's a few options in play, and I do like the rotation from Sirens. If you remember in scrims, right, coming down from Severny, they would tend to go a little bit too deep towards a compound by the river and possibly get caught out, whereas they're choosing to go in through the east side of Ruins, which is overall a lot safer and is going to give them a better time frame, especially because Lack and Oster, who like to land in Roshawk, are not playing in today's game, so they know the area is quite free for them to move into the circle with.
Time to shine, getting pretty close to Pachinki and Headshot Valley, as Blank and John like to call it. We've got a bunch of other names, but we're going to stick with Headshot Valley because I think it's a pretty good name for this area, because you do get Headshot in this area quite a bit. As Time to Shine, they scouted the area on the west of Headshot Valley. It's free real estate. They're going to take control of that position. It's pretty good seeing how the circle did go over to the western side, and other teams that did drop on the east, they're going to have to go for that rotation. But because the plane path was actually very focused up north, it's not going to hurt too many teams in this lobby.
Red Reserve doing what I suggested.
They send the entire team, yeah.
A bit of scouting on Everest and sending the whole team down. It's so valuable because not only are you preparing a bit better for phase 2, you're securing that key compound. You are protecting yourself by 4 walls of the building, and that's the kind of small compound that has 3 or 4 buildings where you're able to spread yourselves out. Should you get somewhat engaged upon via grenades, you're able to dodge them somewhat.
Yeah, I'm talking about grenades like these European grenades. We talked about it in the intro, right? Like, European grenades have heavily improved as time goes by. So really happy to see these European teams putting that focus now on utility. I think in Spring Split, that's maybe something that was lacking quite a bit. These teams playing that utility, playing around smokes, flashbangs, maybe all that much. But like, we've seen so many molly plays in the scrims, right? Molotov plays left, right, and center. And the Molotovs, if you use it so well, it's such a good tool to deny pushes if you use it properly, of course. It's
underrated a little bit, but it requires a bit more precision, so you have to think about it a bit more, and then but when you're in the heat of the moment, you're not really thinking so much, so therefore there's a, you can't really use the time, so you're better off just chucking an actual grenade. We see Max, the Noisy Boys in V4 clashing up once again on these similar rotations.
Yeah, but V4, they lost the player earlier to the Noisy Boys. The Noisy Boys, they're in hunt mode. They're just chasing down their prey. They got a little wind of they smell the blood. They're like, this is a team we killed the player earlier. We're going to try and finish them. But you know what? They're like, okay, we're going to play the passive approach. Noisy Boys, they're just going to have a pretty good compound under control up north of the plateau area. As V4, now they got to aim for another area. Where might they go?
But here's the thing, they are heading on across the south coastline, so they might stop around Ferry Pier area. But here's the thing, rotating so late into the blue zone closing in a phase 1 is just as risky as being in the same compound as another team, because you don't really know, and other teams could be rotating close by. It can nearly always be the case of the devil you know rather than the devil you don't know in the world of PUBG Mobile, because timing of rotations is always going to be so much more valuable.
In the circle coming out on phase 2 did go down south. You know what? At least the river is not going to come into play, so the hard rotations up north should not be unfolding this time around. An Atlantis cycle, pretty decent position up north of Gatka. But really, I love where the Noisy Boys are set up right now. It's a really nice spot to play with. There's a little bit of high ground position under play also. Siren's also got a decent spot, but I'm surprised that no one yet has gone for Pachinki Hill. You got so much visibility in the center of the circle itself. I think that Inside Games or GSG Europe could aim for that location.
And I was thinking for Omega Dragons to shift a bit more to the east, which kind of what they're doing, but Red Reserve have reacted a bit quicker. We could see a bit of an early fight between those two teams. Team Dope, who did stop by the compound by the river on the north, took their time. They're now coming in via ruins, which I think is pretty good, but they are getting close to Bloodline. There is still that little bit of space on that hill to the north of V4, which could be held onto by either Inside Games or GSG Europe as well, Max. So there's still quite a few areas in play, even though teams are quite heavily inside the circle.
Accuser PX slowly going to be coming on by. They had a bit of information on Time to Shine, for example. Sirens are going to be holding on to that location down below. But Time to Shine, they're on the move once more, trying to aim for a better compound to hold on to. And things are going to be nice and dandy. But right now, this is still the early stage, right? You're not expecting too much to happen. So far, only 1 kill happened in this game going over to the Noisy Boys. But Atlantis cycle, they found a pretty decent position as Time to Shine might try and contest it. They got high ground position on the plateau. They can take a few shots down below. But really, it shouldn't result in a big breach happening very soon.
It's funny because you know when you talked about the one player going down, it's actually in the compound that Atlantis Cycle have rotated too, so it's just kind of ironic and coincidental as it happens. Time to Shine being on top of the hill, it's a great area, but because it's out in the open, if the circle obviously closes in around them, they could be under a lot of pressure by teams moving in closer on that 360-degree angle. And, you know, you talked about the early game being quite passive. I'm expecting that from pretty much the whole of day one, or at least until the last game of the day. Teams are going to be feeling themselves out in this competitive setting, even though they might have played against each other quite heavily in scrims.
Team Dope on the move. Slowball is going to be leading the pack of Team Dope, going towards potentially Bloodline. They got an initial knockdown down. I believe that was Kapahala and the kill feed earlier. Allen going to go for the res up. That'll be happening very quickly. The Team Dope, they're going for a very aggressive breach that I don't think was really initially needed all that heavily. You know what? Seemed like they are thirsty for kills. Grenade going to be coming on by very close to Slowballs, but luckily enough for him, that one will bounce right off that little cliffside.
They got a knock onto a member of Bloodline, but the revive has been executed.
Se
They
bat
both have
nebunii
little
noștri între noi.
peaks that they can move and shoot from. That's pretty good. But what I really like from Team Dope is that they have that 2-2 split. So you have the off angle from Tudor and Harb, which is going to be able to provide that level of back support.
Yeah, early shots coming on through. Seem like Team Dope might not be fully ready to commit to this one. They know the Bloodline are going to be defending this one really well. I like the fact that they kept Slowballs very close to the compound to make sure they can then send the entire team away. And I say that's Team Dope out for... Oh, Slowballs jumping onto a rock right there very early on. They seem like they want to play towards the Everest area, which I think is very intriguing in this situation. I think that's a location where you're allowing yourself to take heavy damage from Bloodline.
But here's the thing. I think that was a little bit of a bait.
Ah.
Because we saw the members of Team Dope shooting up towards Bloodline, not necessarily wanting to get a knock, but either way trying to create that space. But talking about space, phase 3, the space has shrunk. It's gone down south. Quarry's in play, but Quarry's always a very tricky area to hold on to. There's really limited strong areas where you can rotate to, and I'm talking about the north and the south side. Don't really want to be on the east or the west.
It's like a Miramar La Bandita, but with no compounds in between. That's how it is. You can compare it to. So basically, you just can't go down below. If you do, you're going to be dead meat. But definitely would be interesting to see if we might just get ourselves a quarry finish for the very first game of the day. As X Team, also a team that's been coming around quite a bit, getting some pretty consistent results going into the European scrims overall. And coming into this tournament, I think they might be the favorite of a few viewers at home. So definitely do support them in the chat if you are a fan of X Team, because they're a team that they know how to hurt other squads around them. But the Noisy Boys and Red Reserve, they're going to be having a very early clash. There's nice mini 14 shots from Beg for Mercy. Shall connect towards Everest.
Nice mini 14 shots, quick to the point, and nearly took down a member of TSC. It's risky being on Everest, but at least are getting information, and it has paid off. His zombie is going to get knocked to the ground. But the thing is, because TSC are so far away, are they really going to be able to react to this?
I don't think so. I think that right now also Zombie got knocked down, but X Team were easily able to pull off the res. It's phase 3. Now it's starting to be the time where maybe you don't want to overstep your welcome too long out of the circle, so that's fine. TSC going to be on Everest himself. Really good for scouting early on right now, but I think they might be just cruising a little bit too quickly from that location. Use it for like even just 10 seconds. Look where teams are, then go downhill, but seem like they're going to go downhill without too much information going their way. Well, I'm happy to see. I just realized that we got Antho for TSC here. Ooh, he's a player that you want to keep an eye out for.
No, I think TSC played it really well. But yeah, they might have hung around Everest for a little bit too long, but getting that knockdown on the zombie, it wasn't the fact that they wanted to react for it, but it created a space where it pushed X Team back, so it meant it was going to be easier and freer for them to rotate towards the circle. It's still not going to be easy because they don't really have that much information.
Information for Be My Loot has bit taken, though. Taking a little bit of an open fight in the plateau area versus V4. V4 and Fushi, they lost another player earlier with this Piranha. So Piranha, player 99, both taken down of the equation. Marshall and Cruel are going to be there remaining. But Be My Loot got a pretty decent position, but now they're a little bit more on the edge of the circle down south. Means that they're going to have to go through a plateau area, through a road, through a forest, also just very flat. Their rotation, they need to try and gather information to make that rotation just a little bit smoother for themselves.
But I think they are. The only thing is that there is a team in front of them, so I think they